ज्ञानं तिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वरूपं कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं स्वामिरजातं जयगन्धगुणातुतं तं सजीवं साधवेतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णप्रदान् जयगन्धललिता श्रीविशाखावितं च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी दिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पार्षदेशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपेकांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु वे बचा पतितनां पावने विवेशनेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसरि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। प्रभु जी आप श्रीला प्रभुपाद प्ले कर लीजिए। मैं मिस्टर ओग्रेडी।
प्रभु जी मेरे लिए तो बहुत मुश्किल होगा। मेरे को आप 5 मिनट्स दो, नहीं तो यू कंटिन्यू एंड देन आई विल ज्वाइन। मेरे को बच्चों को प्लेट लगा रहा हूँ खाने का।
अच्छा ओके।
आप स्टार्ट करिए प्रभु जी, मैं आपको ज्वाइन करता हूँ।
ओके प्रभु जी। One who has heard from God explained the same message to his disciples. If the disciple does not change the message, he is a bona fide spiritual master. That is our process. We take lessons by hearing from Krishna, God, and from him understand but who is perfect. Or we hear from his representative who does not contradict Krishna and who has realized his message. It is not that we speak on one thing and do all nonsense. One who does so is not a spiritual master. स्वाति माता जी, आप मिस्टर ग्रेडी।
हरे कृष्णा
माता जी, आप ये प्ले कर लीजिए माता जी, मिस्टर ग्रेडी।
मुझे आपकी आवाज बहुत कम आ रही है।
मैं कह रहा हूँ आप मिस्टर ओग्रेडी प्ले कर लीजिए।
ठीक है
जी मैम, थैंक यू।
कहाँ से पढ़ना है प्रभु जी? नाउ से?
हाँ जी जी माता जी।
Now there is my poor old father living west of Ireland, a simple old man, 78 years old, your generation. He has gotten to the point at his age where he says, they tell me the priest, they tell me ultimately that it is God who knows, but I want to know who told God. Then he comes to me and says, you went to school and you read books. Tell me who told God. So I have no answer. That is the difference between 78 and 39 years.
No, it is not a difference of age. The difference is knowledge. In the Brahma Sutra, the question is raised: who is God? First of all, there is this question.
Who taught God?
No, first of all, there is the question: who is God? Then we shall ask who taught God. The Vedanta Sutra says, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Now we should inquire who is God. Unless you know who God is, how can you raise question of who instructed God? If you don't know the God, the question does not arise who instructed God. Is this not so?
Yes.
Who God is explained in Brahma Sutra. Janmade Yasat Yataha. God is He from whom everything emanates. That is God, the Supreme Being from where everything emanates. Now, what is the nature of the Supreme Being? Is he a dead stone or a living entity? That is also explained. Janmade Asya Yato Navyad Itaratas Chartesva Abhigyanaha Swarat. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1. The Supreme Being is fully cognizant of everything directly and indirectly. Unless he is fully cognizant of everything, he cannot be God. Whether then then the question that you raise comes, who taught God? And that is also answered, Swarat. He is fully independent. He does not need to take lessons from anyone. That is God. If one needs to take lessons from others, he is not God. Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita and he did not have to learn it from anyone. I had to learn it from my spiritual master, but Krishna did not have to learn it from anyone. One who does not need to take lessons from others is God.
Where does human love come in?
Everything is coming from God. Being part and parcel of God, we manifest partial love because the original love is there in Him. Nothing can exist if it is not in God. Therefore, love is there in God.
And manifestations of love are manifestations of God.
Unless the loving propensity is there in God, how can we manifest it? A son born of a particular father has a symptom of the father. Because the loving propensity is in God, we have that the same propensity.
Maybe love is generated in you by the need.
No, there is no question of maybe. We are defining God in absolute terms. Jnanmadi asya yataha. God is He from whom everything is emanated. The fighting propensity is also there in God, but His fighting and His loving are absolute. In the material world, we experience that fighting is just the opposite of loving, but in God, the fighting propensity and the loving propensity are one and the same. That is the meaning of absolute. We learn from Vedic scriptures that when the so-called enemies of the God are killed by God, they attain liberation. Oh.
Is it possible to arrive at this understanding of God alone?
No, therefore we have cited this verse, Tad Vigyanartham Sa Gurum Eva Bhigachet. The word abhigachet means must. It is not possible alone. In Sanskrit grammar, this is called the vidhiline from a verb, form of a verb. And this form is used when there is no choice. The word abhigachet means that one must approach a guru. That is a Vedic version. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, you will find that Arjuna was talking to Arjuna, but when he saw that things were not being resolved, he surrendered himself to Krishna and accepted him as a guru. Karpanya dosha pahata swabhava parachami tvam dharma samudha chetha yash cheraha ya nishchitam brutan me shishyate taham sadhi mam tvam prapanam. Now I'm confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me that clearly what is best for me. Now I'm your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, shloka 7. So here we can see that Arjuna is confused about his duty.
Is this duty to the self, to others, or to the state?
नवीन नवीन पूजा फ्री हो गई क्या तो जी हरे कृष्णा A soldier's duty is to fight with enemy. Arjuna was a soldier and Krishna advised him. The opposite party is your enemy and you are a soldier. Why are you trying to be non-violent? This is not good. Then Arjuna said, actually, I am confused. In this confusion, I cannot make the right decision. I therefore accept you as my spiritual master. Please give me the proper lesson. In a chaotic condition, in a confused state of life, one should approach another who is in full knowledge of the matter. You go to a lawyer to solve legal problems, and you go to a physician to solve medical problems. Everyone in the material world is confused about the spiritual identity. It is therefore our duty to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give us the real knowledge.
I am very confused.
So you must approach a spiritual master.
And he makes a decision on how to help me stop this confusion.
Yes, the spiritual master is one who solves all confusion. If the spiritual master cannot save a disciple from confusion, he is not a spiritual master. That is the test. Sansara dava nalalithaloka tranaya karune ghana ghanatvam praptasya kalyana guna navasya vande guru shri charana ravindam. This is whole confused world is just like a blazing forest fire. In a forest fire, all the animals are confused. They do not know where to go to save their lives. In the blazing fire of the material world, everyone is confused. How can that blazing forest fire can be extinguished? It is not possible to utilize your man-made fire brigade, nor it is possible to simply pour buckets of water. The solution comes when rain from the cloud falls on the forest fire. Only then can the fire can be extinguished. That ability is not in your hand, but is in the mercy of the God. So human society is in a confused state and it cannot find a solution. The spiritual master is one who has received the mercy of God, and he can deliver the solution to the confused man. One who has received the mercy of God can become a spiritual master and deliver that mercy to others.
The problem is to find this spiritual master.
माता जी शफल कर लें, एक्सचेंज कर लेते हैं, आप शीला प्रभुपाद पे कर लीजिए।
ठीक है.
जी।
That is not the problem. The problem is whether you are sincere. You have problems, but God is within your heart. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam. God is not far away. If you are sincere, God sends you a spiritual master. Therefore, God is also called Chaitya Guru, the spiritual master within the heart. God helps from within and from without. Everything is thus described in the Bhagavad Gita. This material body is like a machine, but within the heart is the soul. And with the soul is the super soul Krishna who gives directions. The Lord says, you wanted to do this. Now here is the chance. Go and do that. If you are sincere, you say, now God, I want you. Then he will give you directions. Yes, now you can come and get me like this. This is his kindness. However, if you want something else, that is all right. We can have it. God is very kind. When I want something, he is in my heart directing me and telling me how to have it. So why should he not give directions on how to have a spiritual master? First of all, we must again be eager to revive our God consciousness. Then God will give us a spiritual master.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My request to you is this. You are a poet, just describe God. You are expert in describing, and therefore I ask you to kindly describe God in your occupation. Then your life will be successful. And if one hears you, his life will also be successful. That is the injunction. Idam hi pumsas tapassaha shrutasya va svistasya suktasya cha buddhi dattayo अविच्योतो ऋतः कविभिर्निरूपितो यद उत्तमा श्लोका गुणान गुणानुवर्णनम. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.22. There are many leaders in society who are poets, scientists, religionists, philosophers, politicians, and so on. Those who are so expert are given this injunction. Your duty is to perfect your occupation by describing the glories of the Supreme Being.
My experience is that from some extraordinary reason. My experience is that for some extraordinary reason, one is chosen to do a particular thing.
The reason is given here. Achyutaha. The infallible choice is this. Let them describe the glories of the Lord.
But you were saying that a spiritual master is chosen. The spiritual master, the poet, the priest is chosen by God. This person is chosen to write poems or paint pictures or make music.
So when you compose music about God. That is your perfection.
When one works for God in his line, then his line becomes his perfection.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving to the next chapter, chapter 8, reaching life's perfection. Yes, माता जी अब start करेंगे.
The human form of life is meant for God realization. Srila Prabhupada gives an address at London's Conway Hall in 1969. If one thinks like that, I am no one else's servant, my business is to serve God, then he is liberated. His heart is immediately cleansed, and he is liberated. And after one has reached that, then all one's cares and anxieties in this world are over. Because one knows I am a servant of God, God will give me protection. Why should I worry about anything?
Today's subject matter is our relationship with God. That is self-realization. The Sankirtana movement is the easiest process for self-realization because it cleanses the heart. Our misunderstanding of our identity is due to the dust covering the mirror of the mind. In a mirror which is covered with the dust, one cannot see himself. But if it is very clear, then one can see himself. So meditation is a process for cleansing the heart. Meditation means to try to understand one's relationship with the Supreme.
With everything with which we come in contact, there is a relationship. Because I am now sitting on this cushion, the relationship is that I shall sit and the cushion will hold me. You have relationships. You are Englishmen or Indians. So there is a relationship with your society, with your family, with your friends. So what is our relationship with God?
Naveen Prabhuji, are you free now, Prabhuji? If you ask everyone, very few people will be able to explain their relationship with God. They say, what is God? God is dead. I don't believe in God, not to speak of a relationship. Because these dirty things are covering their hearts, they cannot see. We have a relationship with everything. But why do we not try to understand our relationship with God? Is that very intelligent? No, that is ignorance. All the creature in this material world is covered by three modes of material nature. Therefore, they cannot see God. They cannot understand God. Nor do they try to understand Him. But God is there. In England, in the morning, there is a mist. So you cannot see the sun behind the fog. But does this mean that there is no sun? You cannot see it because your eyes are covered. But if you send a telegram to another part of the world, they will say, yes, the sun is there. We can see it. It is very dazzling. It is very dazzling, full of light. So So when you deny the existence of God or you cannot ascertain your relationship with God, that means that you are lacking in knowledge. It is not that there is no God. We are lacking. The sun is not covered. The sun cannot be covered. The fog or the cloud or the mist does not have the power to cover the sun. How big the sun is, it is so many times bigger than this earth. And the clouds can cover at most 10 or 20 or 100 miles. So how can the clouds cover the sun? No, the clouds cannot cover the sun. They cover your eyes. When an enemy comes and the rabbit cannot defend himself, the rabbit closes his eyes and thinks my enemy is now gone. Similarly, we are covered by the external energy of God and thinking God is dead.
The Lord has three kinds of energies. In the Vishnu Puran, there are descriptions of the energy of the Supreme Lord. And in the Vedas also, in the Upanishads, there are descriptions of the energies of Supreme Lord. Parasya Saktir Vividheva Shruyate. Shvetavastara Upanishad 6.8. Shakti means energy. The Lord has multi energies. The Vedas says God has nothing to do. We have to work because we have no other means to exist. We have to eat. We wish to enjoy this and that. But why should God work? God does not have to work. Then how can we say that God created this universe? Is that not work? No. Then how did it happen? His multifarious energies are so strong that they are acting naturally and are full of knowledge. We can see how a flower blooms and grows and systematically displays multicolors. One side a little spot, another side a little spot, white on one side, more white on another side. The butterfly also exhibits such artistic symmetry. So, this is all being painted, but in such a perfect way and so swiftly that we cannot see how. We cannot understand how it is being done, but it is being done by the energy of the Lord.
It is due to lack of knowledge that people say that God is dead, that there is no God, and that we have no relationship with God. These thoughts have been compared to the thoughts of a man haunted by ghosts. Just as haunted one speaks all nonsense, when we become covered with the illusory energy of God, we say that God is dead. But this is not a fact, simply not a fact. Therefore, we need this chanting process to cleanse our heart. Take to this simple process of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. In that way, in your family life, in your club, in your home, on the road, everywhere, chant Hare Krishna, and this darkness covering your heart, covering your real position will be removed. Then you will understand your real constitutional position.
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Marjanam means clean and Darpana means mirror. The heart is a mirror, it is like a camera. Just as a camera takes all kinds of pictures of days and nights, so also our heart takes pictures and keeps them in an unconscious state. Psychologists know this. The heart takes so many pictures and therefore it becomes covered. We do not know when it has begun, but it is a fact that because there is material contact, our real identity is covered. Therefore, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, um, one has to cleanse his heart. There are different processes to clean the heart: the Jnana process, the Yoga process, meditation process, pious activities. Karma also clean the heart. If one acts very piously, his heart will gradually be cleansed. But although these processes are recommended for cleansing the heart, in this age they are very difficult. To follow the path of philosophical knowledge, one must become a very learned scholar. One must read so many books, one must go to a learned professors and scholars and speculate. One must search out a person who has seen the light. So these are all philosophical processes. Meditation is also a recommended process. One should question, what am I? Just consider, am I this body? No. Am I this finger? No. This is my finger. So if you contemplate your leg, you will see, oh, this is my leg. Similarly, you will find everything to be mine. And where is that I? Everything is mine, but where is that I? When one is searching for that I, that is meditation. Real meditation means concentrating all the senses in that way. But that meditation process is very difficult. One must control the senses. The senses are dragging one outward, and one has to bring them inward for introspection. Therefore, there are 8 processes in the yoga system. The first is controlling the senses by regulative principles, then sitting postures that will help to concentrate the mind. If one sits leaning over, that will not help. If one sits up straight, that will help. Then controlling the breathing, then meditation, then samadhi. But today these are very, very difficult processes. No one can immediately perform them. The so called yoga processes are fragmental. Only the sitting postures and a few breathing exercises are practiced. But that cannot bring one to the perfectional stage. The actual yoga process, although a recommended Vedic process, is very difficult in this age. Similarly, one can try to get knowledge by the speculative philosophical process. This is Brahman. This is not Brahman. And what is Brahman? What is a spirit soul? Such empiric philosophical discussion is also recommended, but it is useless in this age.
जी यहाँ मतलब रोकते हैं आज, it's 8:29. माता जी कुछ realizations, कुछ learnings you want to share?
नहीं प्रभु जी, ऐसे तो कुछ नहीं था, बट बीच में एक जगह था जहाँ बता रहे थे प्रभुपाद की मतलब भगवान कुछ भी कर रहे हैं दैट इज एब्सोल्यूट, चाहे वो फाइट भी कर रहे हैं किसी से, और इफ ही इज लविंग समवन तो वो भी दैट इज ऑल एब्सोल्यूट. मतलब जैसे एग्जाम्पल भी दिया कि उनकी फाइटिंग के बाद भी लिबरेशन ही मिलता है. अगर वो किसी से फाइट कर रहे हैं, किसी को किल कर देते हैं, तो उनकी एक्टिविटीज सब एब्सोल्यूट है. बट इट इज मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में हम कुछ भी कर रहे हैं, दैट इज नॉट एब्सोल्यूट. तो हमारी फाइटिंग भी फाइटिंग है, किसी को लव कर रहे हैं तो वो भी मतलब कहीं ना कहीं जो भगवान की जो एक्टिविटीज हैं तो वो हमारे उससे बहुत ही डिफरेंट है. और सेकेंड थिंग वो उसकी जहाँ वो बता रहे थे कि मतलब भगवान को कोई काम करने की नीड नहीं है, मतलब वो कुछ करते नहीं है. एंड द क्वेश्चन अराइजेस कि फिर ये यूनिवर्सेस और ये प्लैनेट्स वगैरह कैसे बने हैं. तो उसका भी आंसर फिर प्रभुपाद करते हैं कि वहाँ वो भगवान की एनर्जीज ही हैं जिनके थ्रू ये सब हो रहा है. तो एक्चुअली भगवान को कुछ करने की नीड है नहीं. उनकी इतनी मल्टीफेरियस एनर्जीज होती हैं एंड दे आर दोज एनर्जीज आर डूइंग एवरीथिंग. या
बिल्कुल माता जी,
दैट इज
अगर भगवान को भी काम करना पड़ा तो फिर भगवान क्या किस बात के. ये तो इंसान है, हम इन्हें गधों की तरह लगना पड़ता है, काम करना पड़ता है. भगवान को भगवान तो आराम भी कर रहे हैं क्षीर सागर में, कहीं वृंदावन में लीला भी कर रहे हैं, बच्चों के साथ खेल भी रहे हैं गोपियों के साथ।
हम्म
और वही वो वाला पॉइंट मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, वो डायमेंस वाला, कि भगवान भगवान पार्शियल है ही नहीं। भगवान पार्शियल
हम्म
होंगे क्यों? भगवान भगवान अब जैसे एक माँ के लिए चार जितनी संतानें हैं वो सब एक बराबर होती हैं, है ना?
हम्म
कोई अच्छी कोई बुरी, लेकिन संतानें संतानें रहेंगी एक माँ के लिए। ऐसी भगवान के लिए भी है कि संतानें तो सब भगवान के, वो परम पिता है, तो उन्हें उन्हें तो सभी प्यारे हैं, चाहे वो डेमन है, चाहे वो कोई देव है, चाहे मनुष्य है, चाहे वो कोई पशु है। तो वो तो किसी के लिए
हम्म
पार्शल नहीं है। वो सबका ही उद्धार कर रहे हैं वो, क्योंकि वो सब है संतानें उनकी ना। ना उन्हें कोई दुख होता, मतलब उन्हें किसी, वो पार्शल नहीं है, मतलब किसी के लिए ऐसा नहीं है कि कुछ लोग जैसे ऐसे कहते हैं ना कि पार्शल हो गए भगवान, महाभारत में भी पार्शल हो गए, है ना? या फिर उन्होंने अपने मतलब के लिए कुछ करा, डिवोटीज का फेवर करा। तो वो फेवर भी जो है वो खुद से नहीं कर रहे, वो अपनी शक्ति के थ्रू करते हैं, चिंत्य शक्ति के थ्रू करते हैं, या फिर भक्ति भक्ति दे देते हैं, वो भी गुरु के थ्रू देते हैं, खुद नहीं दे रहे। तो उसमें भी कहाँ फेवर पार्शियल हो रहे हैं भगवान? मतलब वो तो वो भी किसी को दे दी कि अगर तुम्हें ठीक लगा तो तुम दे दो, भगवान तो वहां भी न्यूट्रल है। तो यस, ये पॉइंट बहुत अच्छा लगा कि जैसे वो था, कौन थे वो जिन्होंने 100 बार गालियां दी थी? अच्छा जी, याद है?
कब?
महाभारत में थे ना, फिर भगवान ने सर काट दिया था।
शिशुपाल।
शिशुपाल। अब शिशुपाल ने भी इतना अपराध किया, तो अब कोई कहे कि
हम्म
शिशुपाल दुश्मन है, तो भगवान ने सर काट दिया शिशुपाल का। लेकिन उसके बाद भी जो शिशुपाल का जो सोल था, मतलब जो एनर्जी थी, वो आके भगवान में मर्ज होगी वहीं की वहीं। तो मतलब
हम्म
अगर उससे मतलब देखा जाए तो फिर वो एक ही उद्धार ही कर दिया ना, मतलब दुश्मन कहाँ समझा भगवान ने? तो
सही बात
वैसा वैसा है। यस। ओके, वी कैन स्टॉप नाउ माता जी।
है।
वंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण। हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू फॉर जॉइनिंग।